Hello, and welcome back to Cardboard Decoy Plays Kerbal Space Program. So, I'm watching my sound feed here, because I realized there are certain options I could change where I can monitor, and I am transfixed. But you can't see it, so I should probably move on. But anyways, I just thought it was interesting, especially since my sound has been weirdly inconsistent, especially with this video series, which I think most of it has to do with just the sound in the game being kind of crazy loud, even though I have it really quiet. Like, everything's on 10 out of 100, and it still ends up like crazy loud, and I have to move the levels around and everything else, so I don't know. I'll figure it out. So I renamed some stuff. First of all, Save Jeb, and then we also have Save Bill, which is what we're going to be doing first. So in order to do that, we need to go to our Mooner Station. Yeah, fly. For a second I thought for a minute, it's been a while since I played, so my brain might be a little fried. Plus, I've been playing a lot of Factorio. Mostly on account of the fact that 11.1 came out, and boy is it fun with tanks. It's a little OP, but, you know, I keep forgetting myself whenever the time displacement comes into effect, because it's going to be at least 2 weeks and some change before this video comes out, and here I am talking about, oh, hey, yeah, I'm probably going to post a Factorio video, so watch out for that. And it will have already happened, you know, all of, like, 2 weeks ago. So, oh well, whatever. One of these days I'll figure out a decent system, but until then. So, here we are. I got us safely over to the Mooner Station with, I believe it's Froven, who's actually in there. So, we're going to go ahead and undock and make sure we're centered on him. And then make sure he's, yeah, there he is. Okay, cool. And then we'll turn on RCA and SAS and back up a little bit. Yeah, there we go. That's about what we want to do. I believe these tanks are not full. Huh. Interesting. Well, some of them are full and some of them are not. I've got to get monopropellant tanks up here. I think I drained the rest of the monopropellant. I'm not entirely certain about that, but I could probably... No, they still got some on some of these, but regardless, if I can get like a huge monopropellant tank, that's going to be a goal eventually. So let's go ahead and we are going to turn prograde. So the idea is we're going to go save Bill, bring him back real quick, and then we'll try to do some science over the next couple of episodes. So yeah, I've got my cheat sheet ready. I have notes taken down on what we need and do not need, etc., etc. And then, yeah, all should be really good. So we're just going to go ahead and cheat a little bit here. And by that, I mean we're going to not wait until we actually hit periapsis or apsoapsis or apsoapsis or Perrier or, you know, I don't know a sparkling water brand that would match up with that joke, but for apoapsis at least. Oh well, such is life. This is what I've signed myself up for. Just, you know, constant humiliation. Alright, cool. So, let's do that. And yes. So, I've decided, after playing a whole lot of Wii U and not getting a whole lot of work done on these videos lately, it's not as much as I usually do. Not that it matters, because as long as the content is consistent on here, then all is well. I kind of want to get a capture card and see what I could play on the Wii U to put on my channel, which would be really cool, I think. I'm a little worried because Nintendo seems to be ultimately fairly not friendly with the whole YouTube scene, which is fine. That's well within their rights and boundaries and whatever it is that they want to do. And I'm not gonna be on any kind of campaign high horse for making sure they stop being like that. Especially since I figure, you know, my particular influence is going to be almost nil. But aside from that, there are a couple other games that I want to do at least smaller series on, so we might go back to having 2 series running at any one point in time. Hopefully, I don't know. I feel influenced enough to do it. I just don't know if that's actually going to be a thing that happens. We need to set as target. Okay. Man, we are skimming close to the moon surface there. Might have made it a little too close there. Alright, here we go. This is what we want to do. Okay. Whoa, out and around and out. Whoa, easy. And whoa, and back. There we go. How close are we? 1.6 kilometers. That's almost more than enough as far as I'm concerned. Let's see, that's going to put us 1.9 kilometers. It's a little further away. And, you know, you've seen all of this before, but this will be our first actual successful rescue mission, which will hopefully be a prelude to our eventual rescue of, you know, Jeb the Awesome, etc., etc. Okay, and then we go back a little bit, and that should put us real dang close. Yeah, 1.1 kilometers is more than enough for my purposes, so we are going to align ourselves. We got 25 seconds to do so, and only 3 seconds of burn time in order to get our path lined up, so this is going to be real good stuff. Let's go ahead and... Whoa, jeez. Okay, that was maybe a little bit much. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. I was real tempted to try to do my... Again, I've been watching way too much Adventure Time lately, and trying to catch up on the cultural phenomena that is Adventure Time, and you know, everything that goes along with that. And I was really dangerously close to making a Earl of Lemongrab impersonation, and that could be real dangerous. That could be a real bad proposition if I'm not careful. Alright, so we are way off. Number 1. Alright, let's go ahead and we will add a maneuver right here. That will hopefully fix that. My brain feels maybe a slightly melted. Couple things to note at this particular instance is, oh wow, separation 0.9 kilometers? That's perfect, we'll take it. Alright. We're gonna have to turn almost all the way around, it looks like. It's only 3.1 meters per second. That we're going to have to change here. So, but yeah, my brain has definitely been mush because I want to make like an update video on Factorio, so I've been playing it, and it's taken me, in order to like research it and everything, it took me like 10 hours, which I managed in the space of about 2 days, which is quite a bit of binging for me, especially since I've been like doing also nothing in accordance with that aside from watch Adventure Time, which is brain melting in its own fashion, without a doubt. But yeah, so it's like might have lost my mind a little bit. So if it seems like my play style is a little off, you'll have to excuse me, because I have successfully wasted my entire Friday and Saturday, and it's also Halloween weekend at the time. So there you go. That'll give you a better idea of what the time lag is like. So, and me being boring and not knowing nearly enough people as I should at this point in time, I did not go do anything, so, you know, catching up on Adventure Time and Factorio. That's just, you know, not so bad. I've been to many Halloween parties. So there's Save Bill right there. And we're going to go ahead and point ourselves retrograde, because we're going to be approaching very quickly here. Okay. There we go. Got plenty of monopropellant, plenty of liquid fuel. We should be okay to pull this off without any issue whatsoever, as long as I don't totally donk it up somehow. So, alright, here we go. 2.6, 2.5, 2.4. Yeah, so we've seen these docking maneuvers plenty of times. I think the major differences here is that we could actually use Bill to line up as well, and then also this is going to give us a possibly very awkward shape to our ship after we're done rescuing Bill here, and that will present its own interesting challenges. Maybe, maybe not, we'll see. Alright, here we go, he's passing by, so we are going to slow down a lot. Alright, whoop, there we go. I'm gonna continue trying to slow down a bit here. Get our relative speeds totally matched up. There we go. That was pretty smooth, if I do say so myself. Okay, and now we need to find out where we need to point in order to be pointing at said Bill. Okay, that's the wrong direction, so we need to spin all the way around. We're gaining speed just from turning. Pretty normal, probably. Okay, so let's go ahead and... Okay. Just a little bit off center, which is about what we want to do. Again, if we head straight for Bill and end up crashing both the old prototype and the new prototype, that would just be completely embarrassing. So we're going to try to avoid that particular instance. So all we need to do is get very close. Okay. And fast forward. Fast forward some more. 5 meters a second, or 6.6 meters a second is pretty dang slow, all told. Alright. Although if you were running 6 meters per second, I think you would probably find it pretty exhilarating. Again, all told, you never know. Let's go ahead and fire up the engines. No? Ooh, there we go. Doing good. Awesome. Okay. So Bill is less than 100 meters away, which means we are going to continue on our little mission here. Let's move to his view of things. And what we can do to make this a little bit easier is just point at him. So let's go ahead and... Can we set you as target? Set as target. There we go. And we will control from here. Yeah, he's got plenty of monopropellant. He just doesn't have any fuel. So, could be a problem. And we're going to try to eyeball this a little bit because that's going to change. So, we'll just go ahead and do things like this. Alright. And there's our target. And control from here. Okay. Whoa. And where are you, target? I need a reticle. Give me a reticle. Send me a reticle. Oh, is it not set as target? Okay. There we go. Look at that. Alright. So now we just pull one of these. Oh, you know what? We could probably conserve... Oh, no, not wrong button. We can conserve fuel by docking with this ship's monopropellant. That seems like a great idea. Let's do that. RCS. Alright, here we go. Oh man, look at this. I feel super brilliant. Cool. Alright. That's what we're doing right now. Right here in this place. Okay. Line up just a little bit better. And yeah. Cruiser delivery rocket ship. That needs to be renamed. That's totally fine. And let's see. Okay. Set back down to 0. Close enough. Alright. Let's at least try to match up as best as we can here. Yeah. Awesome. I feel pretty good about this. This here rescue mission so far. So, even though I feel especially accomplished in the fact that I successfully did not play this game for like almost a week here, over a week maybe, and I'm not completely inept at it as I am with some games for sure. So, oh, there we go. And wham. Alright, cool teal. I like it. So, let's see. Where are we controlling from? Alright, we're controlling from the main ship. Look at that, they're kissing. Oh, so yes, successful rescue mission accomplished. So what we're gonna do actually is, interesting. Shut down engine. Shut down engine. And shut down engine. Very interesting. That could have turned out real bad. Okay, let's alt right click in. That's gonna, yeah, it stopped it. Okay, that's fine. And in. Make sure we're not gonna crash into the moon real quick. Yeah, we're doing fine. Okay. And alt right click in. And we don't want to get rid of all the monopropellant actually, because we'll still need to deorbit this thing. In. Actually, there's a really easy way we could deorbit it, and I'll go through that process here pretty quickly. But let's do this really quick. And I'm going to take a drink of my coffee that is not caffeinated. Mostly because usually I do these like first thing in the morning on Saturday. And again, as I've been kind of ranting about playing Factorio all day and that kind of a deal, I also have put this off until very late at night, relatively. So if I'm acting particularly unusual, aside from the normal brain meltiness of single focus tasks with a particular game, then it's also because of that. So, you know. Okay. Now, let's see. How's y'all's week been? Wait, I have no idea what day of the week this is supposed to be. I'm like trying to start random conversations without even having any bearing on the time frame in which they will be held. Is that phrases? is that something people can say without sounding like a crazy person? I call this possibility into question. So, I might be a little daffy. I'm not particularly like sleep deprived or anything, just a little daffy, that's all. Okay, cool. So we drained all the monopropellant out of there, like the monopropellant vampires we have become. And let's see, good stuff. Alright, and then we aim prograde, at least once we find prograde. And, oh, what was that? Was that retrograde? No, that's prograde, perfect. Okay, cool. And real quick, we're going to do a test fire. Yeah, no fuel there, so we're good. And just to make sure that we're not doing something super crazy town, we are going to turn on thrusters. Okay, so we're pointed, all of our available engines are pointed in the right direction. That's what we wanted to know. And so, let's see. Yeah, let's just go ahead and fire prograde. I want to know how he managed to get all the way down to... Oh, you know what? I know why it says half a tank of fuel, because we have all these other fuel tanks attached to us. That could be it. Alright. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Close enough. I was like, man, we went down to half fuel really quickly, and I thought we weren't using very much fuel at all. But the true story, the real facts, are that since we added to the number of fuel tanks that we have available to us, we threw off that count by quite a bit. Okay. Hey, we might be able to do this within a 20-minute episode. A whole rescue mission. It's pretty uplifting, in my opinion, as far as, you know, rescue missions go, at the very least. Let's see. We might actually be able to rendezvous here pretty easily. I'm looking at this. Let's set you as a target. Okay. Hey, you know what? We might be able to actually pull this off. Let's go for it. That is the space station, and then that's us. So let's go 2 minutes into the future. And that's... Yes, okay, so that's us. That's space station. Nope. And... Whoa. Easy. Easy. Easy does it. Can it be done? I think it can be done. I want to try to make it happen. Just out of curiosity to see if I can. 3.1 kilometers. Okay. And that brings us not that much closer. Okay. Yeah, that's further out. So that means we need to mess with this dial. Whoop. 3.4. Let's see. Whoa. Yes. Okay. So 2.3 is not bad, all told. And what are you? 2.7? Seeming maybe less and less likely the more I play with it here. Alright, let's move in the ring and then adjust. Woo. Yeah, about like that. No, that's moving it way too far over that way. Alright, where does that put us? 2.6 kilometers. You know what? I think we're going to try to work with it just to see if we can do it. I'm in kind of a just to see if I can do it kind of mood. So prerequisite quick save, and then we'll go ahead and pull off this maneuver hopefully. And then go from there. So, keeping things interesting. 9, 8, 7, just in time. 5, 4, 3. Fire up. 1 and... Okay. Let's go ahead and do a tiny adjustment over here. And... Ooh. Okay. So it looks like 2.6 kilometers. I think I can make that work. I'm not too worried. Alright. And... Whoa. Alright. And that's 3 minutes. Let's do... Whoop. Okay, since we don't have super bulky ship and we can actually turn around, we can give ourselves a little bit less time. So we'll meet up with the spaceship, and then I'll probably dock in between episodes, and then no big deal. And then we'll get to exploring the moon using super cheats, and then using the giant science from said super cheats in order to create us some interesting devices. So that's basically the agenda. Let's see, is it gonna work? It's less about if it's going to work and more about, is this practical fuel-wise? And so far, so good, really. Let's see. Okay, and slow down. Yeah, just right about just on schedule. Good stuff. Cool. All right. And then the rest of this process... This is also kind of checking to see how much fuel I can get away with spending here. And yeah, again, considering that this is how much fuel we had whenever we left the original point, so even adding this whole other ship to us is not really causing that much of a problem. So no big deal, in other words. Yeah, so I'll go ahead and dock with the space station, and or at least get really close, and then, you know, do all the things I would need to do in order to get a new mission started up. And then, yeah, we'll have some real good times, basically. Ooh, easy, easy, right. Good stuff. So yeah, this has been Cardboard Decoy playing Kerbal Space Program. If you have enjoyed, please do like, comment, and subscribe. And then I will see you next time. Have fun.